Welcome to Iraqi Dinar News, your reliable destination for crucial updates on the financial future of Iraq and the evolving narrative around the Iraqi dinar. If you're an investor, currency holder, or someone tracking international monetary trends, now is the time to stay focused. What we're seeing unfold could become one of the most pivotal moments in the global financial sector. Recent signals, reinforced by credible insiders, suggest the long-anticipated revaluation of the Iraqi dinar may finally occur within the next 48 hours. Developments emerging from Iraq are not just whispers anymore. They're building into what may be the most significant currency shift in decades. What was once dismissed as mere speculation is now backed by informed voices in both political and economic spheres. Adding to this momentum, former President Trump is reportedly playing a quiet yet powerful role. His involvement may bring a new wave of American influence that could shape the entire process. This isn't a baseless theory or an overly optimistic rumor. There are concrete movements underway, and they're accelerating. For context, the dinar has been holding a fixed rate of around 1,300 IQD to 1 USD. While this rate offers some stability, it's long been argued that it vastly underrepresents Iraq's economic strength, especially considering its oil reserves, strategic partnerships, and national reforms. According to trusted sources, an official announcement regarding a new exchange rate may surface within hours, with the possibility of the revised rate becoming active almost immediately. So what exactly is former President Trump's involvement? According to various inside accounts, he has been in quiet communication with senior Iraqi financial officials, offering strategic advice on how to structure the revaluation to attract outside investment without compromising Iraqi sovereignty. Some reports even mention direct dialogue between Trump and banking leaders from both Iraq and the United States, urging fast but calculated execution before political winds shift. His participation has stirred growing interest among financial analysts and large-scale investors alike. For those unfamiliar with the term, a revaluation, often abbreviated as RV, is when a country officially increases the value of its currency relative to others. If this takes place, investors holding IQD could see significant gains. Rumored projections suggest a range from $0.50 to $1.00 per dinar, though nothing is confirmed yet. However, considering the velocity of the current signals, such outcomes are now being taken more seriously than ever before. This milestone didn't materialize overnight. Iraq has been laying the groundwork for years, investing in major infrastructure, stabilizing oil production, and finalizing important international agreements in sectors like energy, agriculture, and technology. These actions have laid a stronger economic base, positioning Iraq to back a more valuable national currency with real-world assets and credibility. But the effects won't stop at Iraq's borders. A revaluation of this scale could influence markets worldwide, especially in countries holding large IQD reserves. Should the revaluation proceed, vast quantities of dinar may flow back into Iraq's economy, fueling expansion or possibly triggering complications if not well regulated. Fortunately, there's growing confidence in Iraq's central bank, which has reportedly modernized its internal systems, trained staff thoroughly, and installed enhanced anti-fraud safeguards to prevent misuse or confusion. It's vital to see this not as a standalone financial event but as part of Iraq's broader regional re-entry strategy. The nation has been forming closer bonds with Saudi Arabia, Turkey, China, and other powerful economies. New trade corridors are opening, and massive infrastructure and development deals are in progress. The RV is just one phase in a long-term vision to reclaim Iraq's economic status in the Middle East and beyond. Let's briefly look at the numbers again. If the dinar were to shift from its current rate to parity with the US dollar, 1,300 IQD to 1 USD, that would mark an extraordinary leap in value. Even a rise to $0.50 per dinar would yield major gains for currency holders. However, it's essential to remain grounded. These projections, while exciting, remain speculative until formalized. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a strategic shift with long-term, national, and global implications. What's also at stake is Iraq's financial independence. For years, the country has leaned heavily on the US dollar, exposing it to inflation, external sanctions, and market volatility. A stronger dinar gives Iraq the tools to take control of its economic destiny. This could mean higher wages, more affordable imports, and a wave of small business activity that empowers ordinary citizens. If successful, the RV could become a source of national pride as well as practical prosperity. Still, major change comes with risk. A sharp revaluation could trigger short-term inflation, speculative panic, or confusion in the marketplace. That's why foreign advisors, including former President Trump, are reportedly encouraging Iraqi leaders to execute the plan with precision and discipline. The central bank appears to be working relentlessly to ensure a smooth transition. With only a short window before the expected announcement, every move counts. Dinar holders worldwide are staying glued to their screens. Many have been waiting years for this moment, and their anticipation is understandable. However, the guidance remains clear. Be cautious. Only trust official statements from reputable institutions like Iraq's central bank, the IMF, or U.S. financial authorities. When the time comes, licensed banks and verified exchanges will provide step-by-step instructions on how to proceed. International markets are also bracing for potential change. Reports suggest that banks across Europe, Asia, and North America are already modifying internal systems to prepare for a possible revaluation. Some institutions have even started adjusting their internal exchange rates for IQD in anticipation of what's to come. With a figure like former President Trump attached to the process, financial observers across the globe are now fixated on Baghdad. If Iraq successfully navigates this revaluation, the ripple effects may stretch beyond its borders and inspire a wave of currency adjustments in other emerging markets. Financial analysts are already hinting that if the IQD can be realigned with global value standards, then currencies of other resource-rich nations may soon follow. This would not only reconfigure regional economic influence but could spark a deeper global conversation around monetary sovereignty and financial reform in the post-dollar dominant era. But this isn't just a technical recalibration of exchange rates. It's about what the revaluation represents for the Iraqi people. After decades of conflict, foreign intervention, and economic instability, this move could signal a new era of autonomy, dignity, and prosperity. A stronger dinar would empower Iraq to take control of its economic narrative. With an increased ability to import goods affordably and support domestic growth, daily life for citizens could improve dramatically. Better wages, stronger healthcare systems, enhanced educational investments, these are the human side effects of a financial policy done right. Equally important is the message this sends to the world. Iraq's revaluation, if executed as anticipated, will shift global perception. Once a war-torn nation reliant on external aid, Iraq may now be positioned as a case study in recovery and modernization. Investors who once viewed it as high risk are now eyeing it as a land of untapped potential. Energy partnerships, tech development zones, and international logistics centers are already being discussed by private and public sector leaders. For Iraq's youth, who have only known volatility, this transformation presents a tangible shift in opportunity. As economic conditions stabilize, we're likely to see increased access to digital tools, entrepreneurial grants, and training programs. A rise in innovation centers and financial literacy campaigns would mean an entirely new generation of Iraqis becoming participants, not spectators, in their country's economy. There's also a cultural reconnection unfolding. Iraqis living abroad, many of whom left seeking safety and stability, are now looking back toward home, not with concern, but with hope. Remittances that once felt like lifelines are turning into strategic investments. Families are purchasing property, funding businesses, and reconnecting with their roots in meaningful, economically empowering ways. This emotional and financial reunion between the diaspora and homeland may become one of the most unexpected yet powerful side effects of the revaluation. Of course, not everyone is celebrating. There are skeptics, critics, and cautious analysts urging for more data and slower assumptions. And they're not wrong to be wary. A poorly managed RV could still cause harm, triggering rapid inflation, driving up prices before wages adjust, or creating temporary shortages in foreign reserves. But this is where strong leadership and international guidance become vital. If the Iraqi central bank stays the course, guided by realistic pacing and transparent communication, those risks can be contained. The strategic involvement of global advisors, particularly former President Trump, has added a unique weight to the process. His experience with complex financial systems, investor sentiment, and geopolitical leverage makes his behind-the-scenes guidance particularly relevant. His encouragement of Iraq to act decisively but responsibly appears to have built momentum around the RV process, influencing international stakeholders to take Iraq's economic renaissance seriously. Markets are already pricing in the potential. Some commodity exchanges are adjusting their exposure to Middle Eastern assets. Global banks are increasing hedging activity around regional currencies. And in financial hubs like New York, London, and Dubai, analysts are drawing new models for Iraq's growth potential. This is no longer about if, it's becoming a question of how big. And for those holding IQD, that uncertainty carries both promise and caution. If the dinar does move to $0, 50 cents, or even $1.00, the financial gains could be substantial. A person holding 1 million dinar could see a return of $500,000, 0 cents to $1 million, 0 cents, depending on the confirmed rate. But again, this requires verified execution by official bodies. No investment decision should be made on hearsay or hype. Patience and preparedness are your best assets right now. As this process unfolds, be vigilant. Double-check your currency's authenticity. Know which banks and exchanges are authorized to handle IQD redemptions. Understand any tax implications that may apply in your country. And most importantly, don't act on impulse. Wait for the concrete public confirmation from Iraq's central bank, the IMF, or a credible U.S. financial entity before taking action. If done correctly, this revaluation could serve as a model for other post-conflict economies. Iraq could become a beacon for nations aiming to regain control over their currency and restore national confidence. For global markets, it may shift capital flows and investment strategies for years. And for citizens, both inside and outside Iraq, it could reignite dreams that have been on pause for far too long. This moment is about more than exchange rates. It's about resilience, leadership, and vision. Iraq has taken the long road, but every step has led to this point. With the right moves in the coming days, the Iraqi dinar could rise from undervalued paper to a symbol of a nation's rebirth. Stay tuned to Iraqi Dinar News for the most accurate coverage and timely updates on this fast-evolving story. Turn on your alerts, stay cautious, and above all, stay informed. The next 48 hours could reshape the financial landscape in ways few could have predicted. Let's witness history together.